What's up guys, welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromRetail. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called, Why Can't You Order My Chicken? This happened last weekend to me. To give context, I work in the grocery departments at a big box store, specifically the produce section. Now, the produce section is super small, so it also contains both the meat and bakery section. Anyway, as I'm stocking the produce table, a Karen comes up to me.
Excuse me, do you work here?
Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for an organic chicken brand and I can't seem to find it.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we have any on the shelf. I start to walk over to check the meat section when she stops me.
That was a trick question. You guys are out and you've been out for the last 2 weeks. I want to know what's going on. Why are you guys out?
Well, it's a very popular
No, it's not that popular. I come to this
redacted
at least once a day, and I've noticed you guys have been out of it for the last 2 weeks. I want to know what's going on. I eat a lot of chicken, and that's the only brand that I buy.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I really don't know what's going on with that brand. I haven't seen it come in on a truck in a while.
Well, can't you order it? I called this location one time and complained about it, and the guy told me over the phone that he was ordering it right then. When I came the next day, y'all had it.
That confused me. I've been ordering for this department for the last year and a half, and I've never seen chicken on the order guide. The only time I ever order meat is during Thanksgiving or Christmas time, and the only thing remotely close to chicken are the Cornish hens and turkey. I take out my device, pull up the order guide, and show her. I physically cannot do that, ma'am. It's not on my order guide. I'm not really sure who you talk to, but
are you trying to tell me that you can't order it? I'm not buying that. I called this location and the guy I talked to was able to order it. I don't understand how you can't.
I repeated what I said and even showed her again. She crosses her arms and repeats what she said. At this point, I'm struggling not to slap her. Then an idea came to my mind. I don't think I'm explaining myself clearly. Let me get my manager. She can explain it better. In the meantime, the grocery truck came, so let me see if any came in today. Karen glares at me.
So you're telling me there is some? You really should.
I blurt out. I never said that. I said I'm going to go back and see while I get my manager. I'm just trying to help. That seemed to please the Karen, and she smirked at me.
Oh, okay then. That would be great.
I went to the back room to get my manager and gave her a brief rundown on what was happening. We both checked if any of the chicken came on the truck today, but unfortunately, it did not. She then followed me back to the Karen, who was angrily typing away on her phone when she saw us approach. She had a surprised look on her face.
Oh, I'm actually surprised you actually brought someone.
My manager asked what was going on, and Karen reiterated what she said to me to my manager. My manager gave her the same response as I did, which was not very effective. Karen gets angry and says,
It is so frustrating that you guys don't have my product. It's so inconvenient for me to have to drive to another redacted just to get my chicken,
and rambles on about it. Eventually, my manager cuts her off and says, I'm very sorry that you have to drive all this way. I'll talk to my district manager and request that he sends more chicken to this store. Karen perks up at this and goes,
That would be great. It's just so frustrating that...
and goes on another spiel. My poor manager stood there and listened until the Karen finally walked off. How can you be so full of yourself that you can't understand that it has nothing to do with the employee? However, on another note, nothing would have gotten done had she not made a scene, so I'm kinda conflicted here, but the behavior on the Karen's part was still trashy. This story's called, A Receipt is Not a Gift Card. This actually happened a few months ago, but we talked about it at our Christmas party yesterday, and I realized this story is perfect for this sub. I work in a large clothing store in a mall. We use gift cards both as gift cards and as vouchers, if that's the correct word if you return an item. We have two types, both cardboard. One is pretty large, with gift card printed in big letters at the top. The other is about the same size, but with an area you can push out so it's the size of a credit card, with all the information written on it. Also with a gift card title printed on it, albeit not as large. When we sell a gift card or give out a voucher, we have to have 2 employees sign it. We print the information on it with a noisy-ass printer, we stamp it with our store stamp, and if it's a voucher, we staple the receipt to the gift card as well. Now, I've worked in this store since it opened almost 4 years ago, and never had a problem with this until this lady came to my register. Here's the cast. There's me.
Gift card lady.
On to the story. I was shift manager when this happened, working the register. Lady walks up to me with a sweater, and when she's about to pay, she puts a receipt on the counter and says she's paying with a voucher. Did you bring the voucher?
It's right there.
She points to the receipt. I look at the receipt, and she returns an item worth about $14. I'm sorry, but this is just a receipt showing you received a voucher. I need the actual voucher to be able to register it.
I was never informed that this wasn't the voucher. If you're talking about the cardboard that came with it, I threw it away. It was way too big, and in every other store, the receipt is the voucher. The cardboard is just usually the container.
I'm really sorry, but it clearly states on the cardboard that it's a gift card. There's a barcode I need to scan, and it was also signed by 2 employees, printed information on it, and stamped by us. I also show her how our gift cards look. I'm sorry if you misunderstood, but unfortunately, I cannot do anything with just the receipt, as the voucher needs to be sent into corporate when it's used. Lady argues a bit more and gets pretty angry, and eventually leaves without buying the new item. I thought it was over, but I was wrong. The next morning, I'm working with the store manager and tell her about everything that went down, as we love laughing at stupid customers getting urinated over something that's their own fault. Not even 30 minutes later, she gets a call from our area manager. She received an angry email from the customer claiming I refused to let her use her gift card because she tossed the cardboard surrounding it. Now, our area manager is really sweet, and she even trained me before I started. So when my boss started explaining my side of the story, she realized the lady was full of bull. Area manager thought we refused to accept the second type of gift card, where you could remove the surrounding cardboard to keep the credit card-sized cardboard with information on it. Upon learning that the lady in fact didn't bring any gift card, only a receipt, she forwarded the mail to my store manager to let her reply. And I tell ya, it was a magnificent reply. I don't remember it word for word, but she basically spoon-fed her the same information I gave her about how obvious it is that the cardboard is the voucher, and that it's sad to hear that she managed to throw away $14 clearly marked gift card. Everyone working that day heard the story and ran to the office to read the emails. And after this, we clearly stated to customers that the gift card marked gift card is indeed the gift card. Whew, good lordy, give me a nickel for every time I said gift card, goodness. Okay, y'all are gonna hate me, but again, I kind of understand where the lady's coming from. Allow me to explain. Walmart sells PlayStation gift cards or whatever, and you buy the physical card, however the code is printed on the receipt. So it's not uncommon for stores to do that. Even though the card clearly says gift card on it, everything is on the receipt. So in my opinion, the lady should have gotten her $14 worth because it's an honest mistake, I feel like, unless they clearly said it, but it wasn't stated to her, it was just on the gift card. This story's called Never Thought I Would Beg to a Customer Ever in My Life. This is a story from a long time ago, but I still think about it all the time, and I figured you guys might like it. I work at a thrift store as a supervisor, and I was working one of our big sale days. I was moving some shopping carts back to the cart corral when one of my team members asked me to come over to the jewelry showcase, as a customer had a question about the item she was looking at. I went over. She was looking at a pair of really nice sunglasses that were probably worth over $150 brand new, and they were put out for $19.99. She was asking me if the price could be lowered as there was a scratch on one of the lenses. I know that my jewelry pricer takes a lot of consideration and thoughts into the higher quality items that we get in. I take a closer look at the sunglasses, and they were in pretty good quality other than the scratch on the lenses. I told her that they were priced with that in mind and that I wouldn't be able to reduce the price. We get into a little back and forth about it that I'm very used to having, and I explain how we price the items based on condition and quality, and she seems to understand. The whole time throughout this conversation, she was being very passive-aggressive with me, but I just shrugged it off. She wasn't being extremely rude to me, so I didn't say anything. She takes a couple of moments to look at them again and decides that she is going to get them, and starts to walk away with them. I start chasing after her because it's store policy that at the showcase the employee is to handle the item until it's paid for. Excuse me, ma'am, I need to take them to the cash. I can't have you take them until they are paid for. She says that she doesn't trust anybody in the store to keep them safe and not damage them more. I tell her that I'm sorry, but it has to be put at the cash until it's paid for. She tells me that people have let her walk to the cash with showcase items before. This has never happened because everybody in the store knows the store policy very well unless they are new or untrained. And so we get into another back and forth. Keep in mind that the store is at the height of business. Long lineups at the cash, everybody having full shopping carts, probably around 300 people at the store during this time. I'm begging her at this point, please, I have to put it at the cash, it's store policy. And she just doesn't listen to me. I tell her that if she doesn't want to follow store policy, that she is not welcome to shop here. I keep on saying this and she is being stubborn as hell, standing there, holding on to the sunglasses as I tell her over and over again that she needs to follow store policy. It's not until the woman in front of her in the lineup stands up for me, saying that she should let me do my job. Then she gives me the sunglasses to put at the cash. Of course, she doesn't do this without grumbling, saying that,
if they get damaged, I'm not buying them.
They are literally just sitting on the inside counter of the cash register, so I don't know what the heck she's on about. She leaves us, and my boss lets me go for lunch early to calm down. Luckily, the rest of my day was much better, and I got to have some great conversations with some of my favorite regulars. Okay, one of my greatest pet peeves is when you hand someone something to look at it, and they don't give it back because they're just stupid and immature, and they're just like, I'm just messing with you. No, you're being an annoying piece of crap. This story's called Wedding Drama at a Suit Store. I used to work at a mid-range suit store chain as the formal wear manager, and as such, was in charge of everything weddings in our store. As you can guess, there were plenty of rude and frazzled couples. This one couple took the cake, however. Here's the cast: husband,
Wife,
groomsman, me. Husband and wife come into our store and I greet them. They told me that they had been in another one of our stores and had an awful experience and they had to redo all their planning. The store they were talking about was honestly awful and even we knew it. So I apologized for them and said we'd do our best to make it up to them. They ended up picking out a lovely gray custom shirts and some rental pants, shoes, and ties. I warned them that they would need to make sure all their groomsmen got fitted ASAP because the custom shirts took extra time to be shipped to our store. They thanked me and we were all laughing and chatting, and I thought it went really well. Cut to about 2 months before the wedding when I was checking to make sure all the groomsmen got fitted. I noticed that groomsmen hadn't been fitted and I immediately called the groom because we needed a month minimum for shipping. Hello, I'm calling from Suit Store and I just wanted to let you know that groomsman hasn't been fitted yet. Is there any chance you could send him to the nearest store to get fitted?
Yeah, sure, I'll let him know. Thanks.
A week later, I noticed that this guy still hadn't been fitted. This time when I called the groom, I asked for groomsman's contact information so I could get in touch with him directly. Then I called and emailed him, he called back and agreed to get fitted as soon as he could, and even asked if there was an option if he couldn't make it to the store, as the closest one to him was about an hour's drive away. I explained everything to him and he said he'd get fitted that week. As the wedding drew closer, I was calling every couple of days reminding the groom that he needed to get fitted or there was nothing we could do. Finally, I called him to break the news. The deadline was up and we couldn't get the shirt on time anymore. The man was furious with groomsmen, said he would have a word with his guy, and asked if there were any other options. I said we still needed measurements to find a shirt that would look similar in store, and he said he'd get them. About 2 weeks before the wedding, he gave me the measurements and I found a couple of shirts in our store that might work. 2 days before the wedding, the man and woman came in to pick up all the rental items and their custom shirts. I retrieved the items and pulled out the options for groomsmen. So we have a couple options for shirts for groomsmen. I think this one is the closest to the custom one.
What do you mean options? Where the hell is his custom shirt?
I am utterly confused as I assumed she knew about the problem. He didn't get fitted in time and I called.
Okay, what the frick? I have had it with this company. First, the other store messes up our order and we have to start over, and then you drop the ball. How are you gonna fix this? We're getting married in 2 freaking days and you don't have his shirt.
Meanwhile, the man is just letting me take his fiance's anger and looking sheepish. I am stammering and trying to calm her down. Unfortunately, I'm not the quickest with words when people yell at me. My boss, seeing the commotion, came over to help.
What's going on?
She didn't order the custom shirt we are paying a lot of money for and messed up our wedding group. I want a discount on everything for the wedding. We set this up months ago.
She points at the man.
She's called him multiple times over the past months to get this sorted out. Groomsmen didn't get fitted in time. We're sorry, and I know it sucks, but here's your options.
The woman whips around to him. He starts stammering, and she turns back to us.
Unbelievable.
She stomps over to the fitting rooms with him, and while he's trying on his shirt, she is on the phone with someone spouting about poor service and blaming me for all the problems. They ended up picking out the shirt I suggested for groomsmen, and then leaving the store, muttering all the way. I was told that they came in the next day to pick out ties and were just as rude. It was sad because they were super nice during the consultation, but it turned south so quickly. I have so many other stories because weddings, snobs, and semi-expensive men's clothing. Okay, honestly, weddings are very stressful because they're expensive and, all that crap. So I 100% understand that lady's episode because she didn't know what was going on, and that whole situation just sounds incredibly frustrating and infuriating. So yeah, I can't understand where she's coming from. However, that doesn't excuse her behavior the next day, so I guess she was just a big ol' demonetized word. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.